Today we have with us in our studio Seema Pujani. She has got All India 37 rank in civil examination 2014. We welcome you here and wish you all the best for the future also. You have really wonderful result in your this exam. So how are you feeling now?
I feel happy and relieved, sir.
What do you mean by relieved? Because this is a very important word which is coming. It means there was some pain you were feeling all through.
No, sir. It's just that it's been a long journey for me, and I had already secured a rank last year. So I'm glad that I don't have to give the exam again to get my choice of service.
Let me know something about your family, how your family has contributed in your success. So what is your parental background?
So my father retired from Haryana Civil Services. He's currently a legal consultant in M3M Gurgaon. My mother used to be a physics teacher long back, but for a long time now she's been a homemaker. Both my elder sisters are doctors. They are MD pathologists. I think my father has played a pivotal role in this success of mine. I think he was the main force that motivated me to stay on this path. And even if I hadn't secured a rank this year, he would have urged me to go on till I get the rank that I have always wanted to achieve to get my choice of service.
When this idea of civil services came into your mind, can you recall that?
So as a kid, as a joke, I would like to be 5 different things at one point of time. I think it started with being a veterinary doctor because I love dogs. Okay. And then it moved on to being a pilot and being this and that. And jokingly, I also used to say that I'm going to be an IS till I'm 40. Then I'm going to have my own factory. And then I'm going to travel the world and this and that. But on a serious note, I think very late in the day, it was about end of my 4th year in law school. And there was a talk organized with seniors of mine. I think it was firstly with Aparna Ray. She is an Indian Foreign Service officer and she had come to National Law School for some work of hers. And I happened to be a part of that talk and I was really inspired. That was when it first struck me, why not this? And right after that, there was a talk with another very senior from college, Shrikar Sridhar. He was, I think, rank 8 in the year 1999. He's an IAS officer. So both the talks inspired me, and when I told my father about this thought, he immediately caught hold of that, and from the next day he had books with him and he started studying as if it was his exam and not mine. Okay. So I think after that he never let go of that idea and never let me let go of that idea.
So should I take it like this? The concept of civil services first came from your seniors. Then yes. Is what taken up by your father, and then he made a mission for you. Is it
yes,
so like this?
Something like this. But also that I would like to mention that my uncle has retired from Indian Foreign Service. So when I met with a young IFS senior of mine, and then I could relate to my uncle's life and my aunt's life and their children's life. And I thought that, and also that I had a lot of diplomats kids in my college, my seniors as well as juniors and classmates. So, and after a talk with everybody, I sort of was inclined, and then sooner or later on it became a very determined motivation for me.
What about your mother? How your mother played important role in this whole decision and also in helping you?
She has supported me in her own way, and she's always watching news and updating me on that and telling me that, sort of something like what you're trying to do here. Motivational stories, that is my mother's thing. Like she starts the day with motivational thoughts being forwarded to everyone.
If I just want you to name somebody as the best motivator for you in your life, who put you into civil services and kept motivating you all through your preparation, whom you would like to name?
Instead of a person, if I could give credit to one place, for my success, it would be the library that I had joined. And I think I can even go back to the date that I joined. It was August of 2012 when I first stepped into a library. And that was to be my library for the next 2.5 years almost, till they shut it down in December 2014. I don't think I could have gone on to study had that reading room / library not been there for me. That's where I made most of my friends, very, very diligent doctors who were preparing for their MDs and other civil service aspirants, and a lot of us have gotten into the services from that library. So our bonds were formed there. We used to go to sleep at night thinking that tomorrow I have to pack these bags and go to that library and start our day. So
that gave you kind of continuity to you.
Yes, sir.
I can make out that after your graduation in law, you had a choice to go to Germany
Yes.
for your studies. So why did you cancel that? Why did you drop that idea of going there?
So as I had mentioned previously, my father was insistent that I do this program later on, and I was keen on doing it right away because getting acceptance later on can be very challenging, and I did not have a plan B. I was scared that what if I do not make into the civil services and I don't even have a post graduation or work experience. But my father wanted me to start out right away after law school, where I'm still in the study mode and can put in long hours. But of course, once the decision was made of not sending me there, it took me a lot of time to actually accept that I have to give this exam. So therefore, starting 2011 to 2012, I did not do much study. I took my own sweet time. Only when the result came in 2012 of the prelim exams did I get a shock. That there is an exam that I cannot clear. And that's when I took it upon myself that of course I'm going to do this, and took up the challenge after the failure.
Normally it happens, when you're in life, when you keep succeeding, you never failed earlier in your exam. You might have always got very good marks in. So you might have taken also this preliminary examination could be somewhere like that also. Maybe I will get more serious after mains comes.
Yes.
And when you did not get in the prelims, so that awakened you, this is such an exam which I perhaps have to work differently and all there.
Yes,
so
sir.
How did you take your first failure maybe in 2012 when you could not qualify pre? What was your psychology that time?
So it was a shock, but it wasn't like I hadn't put in much work. I still remember that I think the prelims was on 21st May. I actually started studying on 1st May. And prior to that, I had abandoned the idea, and I was being lazy and still very confused. I think confused is the right state of mind. I regretted not going to Germany, and I was wondering if I would ever be able to do my master's again. At that age, you want to travel the world and experience. And I had a lot of friends from National Law School who were at that point of time students on student exchange from Europe, US, Australia, around the world. I wanted to meet them, see what their life is like abroad. So having done that, 2012, I knew that I put in only about 2.5 weeks of preparation. So obviously, I'm not that.
It means your heart and soul was not here. You were by choice. You were not here. Basically, you were in Germany that time.
Yes, sir.
You were missing Germany. You were missing all your friends who might have gone there.
Yes.
And you were not putting your heart and soul in the exam. That is what I can make out, right?
Yes, sir.
So it means that whosoever motivates you, unless you get self-motivated, unless you get self-connected to your mission, so you're not able to get that thing there. And I can make out from this story that although your father put into this mission, it was also in your back of mind. But since you are not putting your heart and soul and you are not self-motivated, so you did not study, you just started a few weeks back.
Yes, sir.
You said only 2 weeks back, right?
Yes, sir.
And you lost it. Now, from 2012, when you missed it, right? So you might have made a plan, okay, what I should do next. You must have worked on your failures. Okay, what I have really missed it. So how did you get up once again for the next target?
So I think the question of getting up doesn't really arise because I really had to start from scratch. So
Okay.
After the result came about, as I said, I joined the library in August 2012, and then I started covering all the basic books, NCRTs. The basic part takes a long time, and later on in the year, I also started coaching for my first optional, which I took last year, public administration.
Say you have been a law graduate. Then why did you choose public administration in the 2013 attempt?
So when I had just started out in 2011, it so happened that there was the public administration was very popular as an optional, and especially I had met a family friend's son who was ranked 14 in the result that came out in 2011. His name is Vinay Singh Tomar. He is an IAS officer today of Haryana cadre, and he had public administration as an optional as well. And I was the whole idea was that it's a subject with short, concise syllabus, and marks are being given liberally. It's easy to cover. So therefore, I took it up thinking that law was very vast. At least when you see the syllabus, you realize that it's huge, and you're scared because you've done the whole thing in so many years in law school, and the exam requires you to do it in such a quick time. So therefore, public administration came as a choice.
Oh, it means that basically you took the subject, not that you were very strong in the subject,
Yes.
not that you had studied it because somebody senior qualified with the subject, right?
No, so the whole, that point of time, there was a lot of success stories associated with this
Yes,
optional.
yes. You know, this is one very important factor which comes in the students when the success rate is good in particular subject. So all the people rush towards that. And that becomes one very deciding factor also later on. Don't you think it should not be decided like this, subject should not be taken like this?
Yes, so I think definitely, because if I were to tell you that I got 120 marks in public administration in 2013, and that was the reason why I was ranked 599 last year, I think that would be persuasion enough for the others not to make the kind of mistakes I made. And I last minute in June 2014, I decided that my attempt in 2014 would not be with this optional, and I took law.
So it means you took your second attempt with public administration, and at that point of time, it was not a very cautious decision. It was just maybe you just was under impression.
Popular decision.
You were under impression. So, yes, you're right. That is a popular decision, and you did that. So you got 599 rank, right? And what services you got after the second attempt?
So I got Indian Trade Service. That was my 7th preference that year.
So how did you feel after getting this rank?
I was not satisfied at all, sir. I appreciated all the wishes that people were giving me, but nothing could make me feel good. And for 2 days, I was in tears because either I wanted to be on the list in the top 100 so that I could get my choice of service, or I did not want to be in the list at all. So, the feeling was...
It means you had clarity in your mind, either in the top list somewhere or not at all, right? So how did you change your strategy? How did you work on your setbacks on all these things?
So there was, the result came out on 12th June, and I had a feeling what could have gone wrong because I had made some blunders in my public administration exam. I had gone ahead and attempted all 8 questions in the papers.
All 8 questions?
All 8 questions without reading that I'm supposed to do 5 out of 8. So that means I had attempted approximately 10 because it has a lot of subparts to it. So at least 10 questions more than the others. So you can imagine the kind of quality of answers I would have written in that shorter period of time.
But why did you write all the questions? What could be the psychology behind it?
So because I did not read the instruction wherein I must also tell you that I never practiced writing answers, neither in 2013 nor in 2014 mains. As in, the only answers that I've written for UPSC have been directly in the exam hall.
It happens. Most of the time people don't follow the instruction.
Yes.
What UPSC wants. So they just write what they know. That also becomes reason.
Yes, sir. So basically I got 70 marks in my paper 1, 50 marks in my paper 2. And 120 was my score last year in public administration. And on 12th June, the result came about. And the details of the marks came about, I think, in a week or so. I knew public administration was the cause of it. And then I decided that I have to make the change.
So you got basically not a proper rank, especially because of public administration.
Yes.
And because of the popular choice.
Yes,
and also the mistake you did in attempting the question. I think we can. So you might have worked these all things on. Later on, you must have corrected these things.
Yes, so 22nd June, I filled the form with law as the optional, knowing that I had very little time. But then I trusted my instinct and made the choice. And then even though there was little time, I had to do it.
So how much marks you got in law?
So marks aren't yet out. So I do not know the details.
But definitely you feel you might have done very good in that way.
Yes, sir. I think so. With this kind of rank, I must have done better than 120 for sure.
And even general studies, you might have done better?
I think, sir, general studies was the reason I was in the service last year. Because of my GS marks, I must have been there on the list last year. So I think those marks might have remained same this year, but law would have given me that extra push.
Seema, as you have already got very prestigious rank in civil examination 2014, that is 37th rank, right? And you have gone through all the last three attempts. First attempt, where you lost preliminary examination. Second attempt, you could not get a rank of first choice. And the third attempt, finally, now you have achieved your dream of going into Indian Foreign Service. So would you like to suggest the future aspirants what strategies they should follow from prelims to mains interview?
So first and foremost, I think the motivation or inspiration should be very clear and very sound. And they should know why they are doing this. And it should come from them. And coming from another source will not help them. Secondly, a lot of people divide their studies into phases. Right now I'm studying for prelims. Right now I'm studying for mains. I'm studying for interview. I think that does not really work. Whatever you are studying has to be for prelims and mains point of view. Maybe the areas could be different because the syllabus is a bit different in some aspects. Some aspects of history and geography are required for prelims and some for mains. But the style of studying should not change majorly. For the interview, I agree that it should be different, but basically a holistic way of studying should be in place. And most importantly, one should enjoy what they are studying. Like I used to study much less than the others. I have never been a bookworm. In fact, I doubt sometimes how have I reached here, because I study much less in comparison to the others. I am not a great scholar, but I think I have always been a decent or a good examinee throughout my life. So
you feel that what is more important is the consistency, that how much time you are giving for that all there. So one thing I can make out from your experience, that there should be combined preparation for pre and mains and interview from the beginning itself.
Yes, sir.
What is the correct time? This is a very commonly asked questions by the aspirants. What is the right time to start the preparations? So how would you comment on that?
So I took a lot of time. So I would say that if somebody hasn't had this dream from early on, say class 12th or in their college days, very early on in their college days, then it would take some time to understand how to study for this exam. Like the newspaper has to be read differently. You might have been reading the newspaper previously also, but it has to be read differently and notes have to be made of the same clippings in a different fashion. So everything is going to take time for you to understand. And I guess you need at least a year of consistent work.
So you, first of all, you say that newspapers should be read differently. So would you like to share some of your feelings on that? What do you mean by differently?
So I think reading newspapers has played a major role for my good marks in general studies. Since 6th November 2012, I have had diaries of clippings, which I haven't stopped cutting and pasting in those diaries since then. And I underline and highlight, and I don't make notes like some people do of the the reports in the paper, but I write short points on the article itself. So later on, when I'm revising, when I just flip through the pages of that diary, I remember what I thought of the clipping at that point of time when I was reading it. So for example, in 2014 December, when I'm revising for my mains, I can go back to my diary from 2012 and 13 and really relate to certain thing happening now to what is its connection to back then. So we normally, when we're reading the newspaper, we miss the most important things that are important from the exam point of view. Political news may not be important at all, and even the information-based news, there are certain points, certain statistics that may be important for you to remember from the exam point of view, and a whole lot of other details which are not. So that comes with some experience and some time.
See, I have a very important statement with mostly students, like I say, give your 100% in 1 year. Then realize whether you can or cannot do. Not that you give 20% every year and then realize after 5 years that you cannot do it. So it is just a question of giving the final choice on that. Now, talking about the strategy for pre, if I ask you specifically, what opinion you have that how one should start the preparation, especially, yes, of course, all the preparation should be combined, pre-mains interview. But when it comes to pre, that I have to qualify the pre. So what should be the specific strategy for pre?
Looking at the previous year's question papers, I think is very important. It gives you an idea of what is the commission trying to test in a candidate. And very often the kind of question papers we see in the market are nothing like what UPSC is going to ask, which is precisely why I never joined any test series, be it prelims or mains, because UPSC is asking different set of questions. So looking at the previous set of questions was one thing that I did. Not too much again, maybe for last 5 years or something, because the pattern has changed and evolved. Secondly, sir, I think I just looked at the syllabus and the different subjects and started covering the material that I had on it. Basic NCERTs first, and thereafter it needs to be updated constantly. So internet, I think, is a very important source of information in today's.
In the preliminary examination, one big question is how to memorize the things. Keep a lot of retention power should be increased. What did you do for that?
Unfortunately, I had to go over the stuff over and over again myself. So
you're making some brief notes for that?
I make notes on the sidelines, on the
book
side
itself.
of the book itself. I'm not somebody who makes notes.
That's the best strategy. So
that's
that you
the
can,
quickest way, I guess.
And you can get a revision of the books time and again. In place of reading the entire page of the book, if you just have 2 points written on that, entire book is clear to you.
Yes, it saves time, firstly. Otherwise,
and this is what I also suggest, that if you read, underline the books very properly, write inside, so that next time when you revise the book, you may not be required to read the entire pages of the book, but maybe if you find anywhere that you are missing some clarity, you can refer to the entire page also.
Another added advantage, sir, that if you make your own notes, it's just your handwriting that you're reading. But if you go through a book, there are pictures. Sometimes pictures stay on in your memory, and when you're writing that answer in mains, suddenly it clicks, oh, I had seen it there. So
that gets recorded when you write with your own handwriting, so it remains in your memory as a record. That is where I have always suggestion to the students: read for 2 hours, think for half an hour, and write for half an hour. If you can practice it, it will be the right method to strategize the entire thing there. Now, talking about the mains part particularly, how did you strategize for that, and what would you like to suggest, especially for the mains preparation? Well, of course, one selection of optional subject you will say is very important.
Yes, sir. So when I gave the exam in 2013, everybody was clueless as to what was going to be asked. The entire pattern had been changed on 5th March that year. Nobody knew what was ethics paper going to be about. Everybody was sort of fumbling in the dark. And so the idea was to try and read all the material that was available in the market, try to make sense of it. And covering the syllabus was a challenge itself in 2013. After the 2013 experience, I knew that general studies is increasingly based on your newspaper study. So I emphasized on that for 2014, as in I made sure that I read at least 2 newspapers. I did not read more than 2 news. It was basically Indian Express and Hindu that I focused on. I would not miss it for anything every day. And yes, since my strategy worked in 2013, I was pretty confident that similar kind of questions would be asked in 2014 itself. A lot of static GS is not being asked. It's very, one has to keep themselves updated on the topics which are currently in the news and know their backdrop.
Current affairs, in fact, is very important.
Very important.
So basically, the students should focus on anything in relevance to the current affairs, what things are going on that, right?
Yes, sir. Like, go back and read up on it. Like, only one point might be there in the news, but then you can look it up on the net and one thing leads to another.
So quickly, let's review. How did you prepare paper 1?
Paper 1 is with history, geography and culture. I had once decided to take history as an optional. So I had read a lot of history. So that was not my worry. Geography and economics are not my favorite subjects. So I read very limited for geography and I just revised those. Those were NCERTs, blue colored NCERTs, the new syllabus NCERTs for 11th and 12th, and some old NCERTs of 6th to 9th.
You did that one also?
I did those as well.
What about the social issues and society part?
Society part, so there was a lot of material available in the market, Xerox of different coaching institutes. I was a serial shopping into of books and notes.
You
Even
should
if I
used to shop the material
yes,
and all that.
I would have a 20 kg sort of rucksack. Like at least it looks like to the other person because I'm short. A 20 kg rucksack from the library on my way to the library and from the way back, and on almost every second day on my way back from the library, I would go through 4 bookstores and see क्या आया है आज market में.
And what about the second paper? What did you in second paper?
Second paper was polity related issues. I did the Bear Act, and along with that DD Basu and other notes from different coaching institutes, as I said, different materials. But those were my base. And the updated part, again, as I said, so no one static source from the internet, something
And
from
you
our
kept
websites.
It means you are quite a good learner, and you were searching from whatever sources.
Yes, sir. Because the new syllabus, yes, I would like to mention that. I think one should just keep a copy of it all the time because there are so many bullet points. One had trouble trying to understand the syllabus itself. It's so lengthy, the latest syllabus. So I would try to cover each bullet point. Okay, this is my source for bullet point 1 under paper 1. And there's so many bullet points in all the papers. So.
Okay, that is actually very important because most of the time students are not clear about what exactly is the specification of the syllabus. So I think it should be also written by own handwriting. Yes, what is the points I need to study about it. What about paper 3, General Studies, Science, Tech and Economy section?
Again, one has to be very up to date with the current affairs on that. I think it's the most diverse papers. I had the highest of all the marks that I had in GS. I had the highest in that paper. I had 109 in 2013. I do not yet know of 2014. So I guess again newspapers must have helped there because they have a lot of questions based on latest things that are happening. Like I remember in 2013 there was one on 3D technology and a lot of things were happening in that field in that year. So
you were collecting some from some sources, by government sources also?
Yes, so diverse sources like and also I follow these websites, online websites.
What about the paper 4, Ethics, Integrity and Morality?
I did not study too much, sir, but I bought a lot of books and then I picked out which topic, which bullet point is covered best in which. And this time I made some additions. I looked at some ethics studies of by different countries, like Singapore does a. Okay. So let's see what my marks are like, and then I would have a better idea if I've improved in ethics further. Like I chose some papers from online studies conducted by different governments abroad.
Okay.
So I read those, like what is their take on ethics in administration. They have some important case studies for their own officers.
Seema, as you know, interview is a very crucial stage of this examination, full and final stage. And this is the only time when you meet the selectors. And this is the time when you have 275 marks in your hand, right? So after this, either you are back again to preliminary and you are out from the field, or you are. What do you think can really should be the right approach for doing very good in interview?
So it's premature for me to say about my 2014 marks because I haven't gotten them yet. But 2013 I had a 195, which I think is good.
Good marks, very good marks.
But it wasn't excellent because there are 2 people in my current batch in training who have gotten very good marks, one with 207, another with 214. And I know that they are very good. They are better than me because they are able to handle questions. It's not about you knowing the exact piece of information that they're asking, but it's about how you take the question. And interaction with them has I've tried to improvise a bit on my style. This time I thought my interview did not go as well as last year, but then maybe I do not know what they were looking for. In fact, when I came out of the interview, I was crying again and telling everybody that I thought I'm going to get into the top 100 this time, but the interview has, I think I've lost my rank this year as well. And I was totally prepared for a rank at the most in 200s or 300s.
Now, can you just share some important moments of your interview? This happened this time with the UPSC this time, some interesting thing.
They were basically questions of a general nature. Whatever I thought would be my interview like. Like last year, I could say that my interview was on predictable lines. Whatever aspect of my personality I had thought I would be asked on, that is what it was asked on. I had even answered a tricky question in 2013 about what is the significance of today. I had already read that particular day, 29th April, if I'm not mistaken, last year my interview, was International Dance Day. So I had even told them that, and then they were very happy because I knew that, and then I went on to tell them about the different forms of dance. This time there were no tricky questions. There were no questions based on law or that I was expecting, or women, or Indian trade service. These were the predictable ones. It was basically very general in nature, things that were happening around, questions about the environment, defense sector, RTI, or the comparison between situation in South Africa, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka, like reconciliation that is needed in all three countries. There are certain internal problems going on. Something about my hobby, journal writing. So she asked me about Anne Frank's diary, but nothing tricky as such, or nothing very specific, nothing that I was expecting. And I thought I did not give my best in the initial part of the interview and did not make up for it in the rest of it. And I was very disheartened that.
As you have already gone twice in the interview, what do you think they test in the interview according to you?
So I really don't know. Only once I get the marks of this.
Yeah, marks is one part, but there is a feeling, on the basis of question asked to you, situation created, what a spontaneous feeling you have, that what is the approach of the interview board when they test you there inside?
So there are some fears amongst candidates that certain interview boards are scary and certain are not. I have never had the scary boards. So I had very cordial interviews both the years. The entire board was very sweet and encouraging. So I do not know about the scary boards, so-called. But I think they're trying to get to know us through those questions, be it the stress-based interview, so-called, or the different information-based question. I think their whole idea is to get to know our personality.
Basically, that's the idea. They want to check in you whether you would be able to face different challenges, criticism, also stress level. What is the stress level going on all there, right?
Our responses, maybe that is what they're trying to check. Yes. Even if we do not know an answer to a question, how do we take it? Do we immediately get panicky, or do we show our emotions? I do not know. Maybe
how much poised you are, composed you are.
Maybe
your leadership quality, your decision-making powers, and also in which situation you can act upon. And of course, basic etiquette and all that, right? That is so it has been a very wonderful journey for you. Now, since you also came for Chanakya IAS Academy's interview mock test there, I think last year also you faced that. This year also you faced. What is your experience about Chanakya IAS Academy in guiding you for interview especially?
So it was, as you can see, that I came again the next time for a mock interview. Then I was satisfied with the kind of panel you had and the kind of questions they asked and the whole environment in which it was conducted. So it's a very good location as well that you've chosen for conducting the mock interviews. I was satisfied with those questions and the kind of feedback that I was given, which is why I chose to
conducting. How do you see we organize an interview in a 5-star hotel? Many people see that. What is the need of going in a 5-star hotel for interview and all that? How do you see our effort in conducting or programming in the environment of 5-star atmosphere?
So it's not that Chanakya is doing a poolside interview or something. Right. So it's just about giving the right kind of conference room and the right kind of infrastructure, which one is supposed to be congenial for good performance, and which is what one would find in a UPSC interview. So I think what was your feeling about Chanakya IAS Academy's board, mock interview board? How do you feel about them? I think they were very well qualified. There were 2 IFS officers in my board and a law expert as well. There was a psychologist, I believe. And yes, I was pretty happy with the kind of questions I was asked.
And you find this situation helped you in the actual interview with the UPSC?
So none of my interviews have had the same questions that were asked there, but still I think giving mock interviews sort of makes you more prepared for what is to come there. Mm-hmm. Like you may be giving answers to totally different questions, but you may be exercising self-restraint in many ways because you practiced before you went.
I was told that you called even those candidates who was already they allotted the time and you were not getting time, so you called personally to accommodate.
Yes, sir. Actually, the result came out on 14th April this year, and my interview was on 1st of May itself. And I think my mock was, I gave 3 mocks on the one same day. Had I not given Chanakya on that day, I would not have been able to give it before 1st May. So I had to give it. So I stepped in at 4, I think, into Hotel Siddhartha, and I told Naini that I have to give it, and she said all the slots are full, so why don't you speak to them? Because she called one guy and he refused to change for anything. Then I called them personally and made sure that I told them how important it is for me to give it. So coming in at 4, by 5 I fixed the interview, 5:30 I gave it, and then.
Wonderful. Yeah. That shows your passion to do something and make your way. Either I will find a way or make a way. So Seema, what I can make out from your whole success journey and discussion, that you have a passion to succeed and really contribute back to the society. So I wish you all the best, and I thank you for coming in the studio with us and giving insight onto all the civil services examination on your experience in 5 level. Thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you.